welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program, and we have an amazing guest today on the Thunder Show. As many of you know, we've done a very famous episode where I paired wine with breakfast cereal. That's because I love breakfast cereal, and specifically, my favorite all-time breakfast cereal, though it hurts me because it cuts the top of my mouth, is Captain Crunch. Now, the gentleman to the right of me, sitting here, the wonderful Chaim, is the creator of Captain Crunch. Is that true?
Well, I developed it, okay?
The developer!
The developer, okay.
Of Captain Crunch, and he is also very much in the wine world, producing some really interesting wines, which we're going to go through from California right now. But, Chaim, why don't you tell the Vayner Nation who you are, a little bit of your backstory, because you've been the developer of other things besides Captain Crunch, and then how you got into the... Take us all the way back. Where were you born? Give us a little history lesson.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm Chaim Arie, and I was born in Turkey, and as a young boy, I immigrated to Israel. Mm-hmm. I was in Israel. I went to high school. I went to the army. I went to the university. Mm-hmm. And then as a young man, I came to the United States. Mm-hmm. I went to graduate school. I got a PhD in food science. And then I went to work for Quaker Oats. And I was very, very fortunate. And they gave me a very important project at Quaker to work on Captain Crunch.
And what year was this?
What
year?
This was in 1962.
So
you're going to know how old I am. You have to track that.
We'll track math. So in 62, they come to you and say, we're looking to develop this new cereal? Is that how it works?
No, it didn't go exactly.
How did it go? I'm very curious.
Okay, well, they had another breakfast cereal in the market called Life Cereal.
Okay.
And they were having some legal issues with Life Cereal, which was infringing on a patent.
I see.
And so they wanted to duplicate a Life Cereal using a different method of production.
I see.
Okay, this is the way it started.
Yeah, this is how it worked. Got it.
And then so this it went on for a while, and then they settled the legal difficulties, and they decided, hey, we have this technology that we developed. Let's make a children's breakfast cereal.
I see.
And that's the way it started.
And so was it always going to be Captain Crunch? Was there always a character behind it? When you developed it, you just developed the cereal,
I
right?
didn't really. Yeah. I had no idea
the marketing
where
or
this
name,
was going.
Right.
Yeah, and so they hired marketing people,
sure.
And then and then it became it.
Did it launch
to a
huge
identity.
Success? Did it launch well right away? Was it well received
right
away?
It took a while. Mm-hmm. It took a while. Usually products like this, they test it. They test it for a long time.
Sure.
And they did a local test in a city,
yep.
and then they went into a
regional
market,
yep.
and then it took at least 4 or 5 years before it went nationwide.
Chaim, why was it able to pass the cutting the top of your roof of your mouth test? Because it does do that.
It coats the roof of your tongue.
No, it cuts it. It cuts it. Now, maybe I'm eating too many bowls because I do eat like 3 or 4, but it is a very aggressive cereal, even though I like it mushy.
Well, I'll tell you, that's the way it is. I can't tell you.
Listen, I got you.
But to me, mm-hmm. To me, it coats the roof of my tongue.
Got it.
And I always associated it with the fact that the raw material, it's made out of oats, and oats, it has a property like this, mm-hmm. and then it's coated with a little bit of oil, at mm-hmm. least, in order to avoid it from sticking when you're making it, so
sure.
it doesn't stick to each other.
Sure.
And so this, I always thought that this is what gives you this coating of your tongue.
What other products, consumer brands products that people will recognize did you work on through the years?
I worked on the Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing.
Yep.
I worked on Power Bars.
Which are very popular.
And I worked on...
That's fairly recent, right? Power Bars, they're not that old, right?
No. Power Bars, it's in the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s. Now I worked on pudding cups
The Bill Cosby stuff, the Jello pudding.
The stuff that comes in
Yeah,
individual. So
yeah.
it used to be in aluminum cans.
That's right.
And easy
Then
open.
Yep.
And now it's in plastic.
That's right.
So
Never
yeah, I
done.
worked on them. The original ones.
Very cool.
And pudding, gel cups, fruit cups,
All that stuff.
all that stuff.
How did you end up getting into the wine game?
I always had this passion to get into the wine business. That's what I wanted to do. I did all these other products
To allow you
for
to do
other
this.
people. Other people told me, you do this, you do this, you do this. But I wanted to make my own wine.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the 80s, we almost got into it. But in the end, we didn't get into it. And I had a flavor company that I started in the early 80s.
A flavor company.
Flavor company.
Okay, what does that mean?
I sold it in 1998.
What is a flavor company?
A flavor company is a company that makes flavors for soda pop, for bakery products,
Got it.
for everything.
Sure.
Everything that you buy
Right.
in the supermarkets has a flavor.
So you would sell that. You would sell
I
the
would
flavors in bulk, or people would come to you and you would make a flavor for the
No,
product?
it would be like I would sell a flavor to, let's say, a soda pop company, and they would put it in their soda
Right,
pop.
the syrup or
Yeah,
the.
right.
Got it.
Like I made.
Did you ever make root beers? I love root beer.
I never had a root beer flavor that
Okay.
went, in a national product that
Right.
you would recognize. But I made flavors for what's the name of this company? I made flavors for Quaker Oats. They put it in their apple cereal. They had a cereal where they flavored it with apple flavor.
So originally you worked for. Did you only work for Quaker Oats and then started your own company, or did you work for some other companies?
Oh, my first employer was Quaker Oats.
Then?
But when I was in the flavor business, I sold
Supplied
the
to
flavor.
everybody.
Yeah.
But did you work for any consumer brands
Yeah, I
product
did.
besides
I worked.
Quaker Oats?
I worked for Del Monte, and this is where I developed the pudding cups.
That's right. Okay.
And
Where did you
then
live at the time?
In Northern California.
And that's where the wine thing came from, or the wine thing came from the old country?
No, the wine thing came
From Northern California.
From living in California.
So you started
from
becoming-
meeting my wife, actually. My wife introduced me to wine.
Is that right?
Yes.
She was a wine drinker or wine
Well,
fan?
she
in the
was a wine
business?
drinker. Yeah, she was a wine drinker. She was a ballet. She was a ballet dancer.
I see.
And she's an artist, and she designed actually this label.
I love it. I saw it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. I mean, it's subtle too, and there's second. I love how there's a
Yeah.
pop out of the signature. Is that your signature?
Yeah, this is CGD Arie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not my signature. But-
That just says the
yeah,
letters.
right. And so she introduced me to wines in the 70s, and then I started drinking wine and appreciating
And it became a
wine.
passion of yours.
It
And then
did.
very quickly you decided, I want to be in this game one day.
Exactly.
Because you were a flavor guy. You kind of, it just, made
Yes,
sense.
it fit.
It fit. So you sold the flavor company in 98.
1998.
Very nice. And then you decided, Noah, it was around the time we met. Well, actually, we met before that even slightly. So in '98, you sold the flavor company. You got some cash and decided to do a wine.
To do the due diligence.
How long did that take you?
It took me about 2 years. I went to
So the money wasn't burning in your pocket. I'm
No,
impressed. You were
no,
nice
yeah,
and patient.
I kept the money
methodical.
in my pocket. I warmed a little bit, yeah. And then once I started spending it, man, I can't
never
stop it.
Well, that's the best wine joke I ever heard. You want to make a small fortune, go into the wine business with a big fortune. I mean, so it's okay. So you finally found. What did you find? Vineyards that you wanted to buy, or a place to put a
wanted raw
winery?
land. Actually, I wanted to experience
The whole thing,
putting the whole
coast to
thing.
coast.
Yeah, and so I bought 209 acres. Actually, you can see it here in the back.
These
Yeah,
209
this
acres.
is it. Yeah.
And where did you buy that?
This is in the Sierra foothills,
Right.
in El Dorado County.
And this is in '98.
in
2000, 2001.
Yeah, 1998 we
so
decided.
the
2000.
Syrah and Zinfandel thing was starting to happen somewhat.
Yes.
So it made and that area was starting to not necessarily have national reputation, but definitely locally, people were starting to buzz that they could definitely make that there.
Well, actually, the Zinfandel started much earlier than that.
Got it.
Yeah, the wine industry started, many years ago. At least there are people that have been there maybe for 30 years
Sure.
and making quite a bit of wine.
Sure.
Yes.
No question. I mean,
yeah.
the Zins were starting to get popular in the U.S. market.
Correct.
The Turley Martinelli
Yes, yes.
phenomenon was starting to
Yeah,
happen, and Zin became a viable category.
Yes.
Whereas prior to that, Zins were tough to sell. I mean, you go to like the
yeah.
93, 94, 95,
Yes,
just
yes.
starting in those late to mid 90s.
Yes. It had a bad reputation because they
'Cause
associated
with
it
the lights in,
yes,
the pink stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so you decide to go there. You find these 209 acres.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You feel it in your
Gorgeous.
heart.
Oh.
This is the spot.
Yes.
So you buy it.
I bought it.
And
And
then what
I
happened?
started building. I'll tell you, we bought a trailer, a house trailer.
Yep.
And we set it up on the property, and then and my wife and I, and it became rat infested very soon.
Very quickly.
And we started planning, designing, and building.
Mm-hmm.
And we built a house, and by 2001 we had a house built on the property, and then we started building the vineyard, the winery.
Mm-hmm.
We completed it in 2002,
Okay.
and our first crush in my winery was in 2002.
And
the
prior
first
to
wine
that?
that I made was in 2001.
Where'd you make it?
We made it in a neighbor's winery.
Very
And I
nice.
planted 45 acres.
Mm-hmm.
We have 45 acres of vineyards with 10 different varieties.
10.
Yes.
Because you wanted to just experience
Yeah,
all
yes,
different things.
I
But is it
actually-
dominantly Zin and Syrah?
Yes.
Petit Syrah?
Actually, it's Zin and Syrah.
Mm-hmm.
These are the two flagship ones that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And Petit Syrah is another variety. But Petit Syrah, I plant. It's my vineyard.
But the Sauvignon Blanc we're about to taste is from Shenandoah. Is something you purchase?
Yes. Sauvignon Blanc actually is a variety that came later, and I make wines that I like. Okay, if I don't like a wine or a variety, I just don't make it. And Sauvignon Blanc, I like it in a certain way.
Got it.
And so the Sauvignon Blancs that I taste from California is not my style. I never thought that I could make a Sauvignon Blanc like this until
You were more
I like
fascinated
it.
by like the Loire Valley and that kind of style, or
well,
more like
I
the
like
New Zealand?
I like Sauvignon Blanc that is fruity and it is floral, more floral. Most of the Sauvignon Blancs that I tasted from California, they're more grassy.
Sure.
And so
What Sauvignon Blanc around the world did you most try to?
From New Zealand, the New
I see.
Zealand.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. And so this is the '09 vintage, and it's an $18 suggested retail. Only 895 cases made, right? And how'd you come up with the name of your winery?
The Arie actually is an improvisation of my name. My last name is Gorarie, and in Hebrew it means Gur means a cub, and Arie means a lion.
Right.
And so we took the last part of my name and we shortened it a little bit. It's Arie, and the DI came as an addition to make it sound more romantic.
You just picked it out of the sky, right? So and so it's CGDRE.
Okay, C comes from my first name is Chaim,
Right.
And so it's spelled with a C,
Right.
And G is the first part of my last name.
I see what you did.
CGDRE.
So you just kind of slipped the DI in there, and it just
yeah,
kind of made
that's
a little
it. Yeah,
How long did it take you to figure out what name you wanted to go with?
it took a long time.
It's tough, right?
It's very tough. And then we end up with a name like this.
Listen, I like it.
But I say, what's in a name?
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if it's in the bottle in the
Yeah.
wine business, people are quickly forget about the name. They could care
Yeah.
less. They want to make sure the wine's good. How has been, there's a lot of people who watch that are fascinated by the wine industry, thinking about getting into it. How has this journey of this chapter of your life been? Has it been challenging? Has it been better than you thought? Worse? How do you categorize
Well,
this?
I'll
project?
tell you, it's not been anything like what I thought.
You thought
It's been
did you think it was going to be easier?
easier? Yeah, it's been very challenging, very rewarding, and it made me feel pain and joy. Okay?
Makes sense. Yeah. Like any good relationship should, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, has it just been harder to sell? I mean, the wines. Because the market has been tough on you. I mean, the last couple of years have been very difficult. In general, you've gotten some nice press through the years.
Yes.
So it hasn't been that you haven't gotten press, but the fact of the matter is there's so many, $20, $30 Zins and Syrahs out there with press that, it's hard to break out, and, if you would have told me years ago that you created Captain Crunch, I would have bought much more wine. I mean, that should be maybe your angle, but I mean, it is a challenge to break through.
Yeah, it's been really challenging to sell, as you said.
And you have to treat every market differently, right? I mean, managing, how many markets is your wine
We're in 25 markets.
And how many different relationships are you handling in those 25?
I can only have maybe 2 or 3.
But of those 25 markets you're in, how many different distributors? Every distributor?
Oh, no, it's all different distributors.
But not 25 different, right? Because, for example, here you have New York and New Jersey handled by the same people. Do you have like
in
17?
other states, we have a distributor in a state.
So
yeah,
so they're the only people that have a dual, like have more than one state.
Yes, only one.
And you only have 2, or you have 3 with Connecticut, right?
They have 3.
So you have 21 other distributors?
I do.
Yeah.
And I need to deal with them.
Listen,
believe me.
And trust me.
It's not easy.
They're no fun to deal with. I understand. All right, let's taste some wine.
Okay.
Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Let's see what's going on aromatically here. So, right off the bat, there is a little hint of grassiness on here.
Yes.
You said you didn't, you didn't want the grassiness, but it did sneak in on you a little bit.
It does. It does have a little grass.
Yeah, it's not crazy, but
right.
thinking that there wasn't going to be any, I did pick it up. It's also got great tropical fruit.
Yes.
I mean, I really like there's almost like this guava kiwi kind of thing going on.
Yes. A little pear too.
Yeah, it's very aromatic.
Yes.
Which is what makes Sauvignon Blanc fun.
Yes.
Okay, let's give it a whirl.
Okay.
So right off the bat, what happened on the nose is happening even more in the glass. There's almost like this papaya guava. It's very, very tropical. And there's some pretty solid acid on this wine.
Yes.
I think that to me stands out.
Crisp.
Very crisp. Now it is a little chilled. They cheated a little bit. Well, I like it's funny, I like room temperature.
Yes.
If I'm gonna really analyze it, you're gonna use the cold to disguise some of the things. You flavor guys are tricky. Oh, you have one there. Is it chilled?
Colder, yeah.
It's even
Maybe
colder?
a little
It's
bit.
fine.
Yeah.
So it is a little chilled. Keep in mind for all of you that, I taste most of my wines at room temperature, but the acid is very, very intense, and I like it. It gives it a lot of structure, and I like the tropical flavor to it. I mean, listen, you're talking to a guy who once sat in this table, maybe 2.5 years ago, and pleaded California to rip up all of its Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
Period. I mean, I made a pretty big stance that I think California just really needs to think about it. Sauvignon Blanc is a varietal they can do.
It's not the fruit. I can tell you, it's not the fruit. It's the way they make the wine.
So you think collectively the winemakers have just have treated Sauvignon Blanc too much like Chardonnay, or that happened for a while.
Yes.
Right now, I mean, they were always over oaked.
No, that's what I think. I mean, some.
Is this all stainless steel?
Oak in the.
Is this completely stainless steel?
Oh, it's only stainless steel.
Yeah.
No oak. I mean, oak will kill this flavor.
Yeah.
This is the style. I mean, everybody can make. I can't be critical of other winemakers.
Now, do you worry? I mean, this is a very solid wine for my palate, like an 87, 88 type point wine. Do you worry that New Zealand comes in at $10, $11, $12 and stylistically has some similarities to a wine like this that's closer to $18?
I worry. That's why I didn't make 5,000 cases with this.
That's why you only made $9.50.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you love the style and you wanted to make it, so you had to scratch your own itch.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much that, I understand the market,
Yes.
but this is more for yourself.
That's it.
Are you prepared to drink all 950 cases?
No.
Now, what markets does this wine do best in?
It's been doing quite well, I'll tell you. In 2008, I made 600 cases. See, we're not talking about thousands of cases.
No, it's
In 2008, I made 600 cases
stuff.
of this, and it sold. It sold, and this is 2009. And I have, what is it, 750?
950. Oh, no, 895. Excuse me, 895.
Okay. Yeah.
Should we do this in next?
The next vintage, actually, I don't have it yet. I got to make it.
Of the
I will probably make 1,000 cases.
Rinse.
See, I'm selling it very well, even though it's a little more expensive.
Do you have a wine room? Do you guys have a cellar? Do you have a tasting room?
We do. Yes.
At the winery?
Yes.
And how's
Well,
visitorship?
I can't sell so much wine out of the tasting room.
Right.
Okay.
We're gonna do this in next.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I can sell up to 5,000 cases. The
You're
club,
allowed.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay, that's where you're at.
Physically,
That's where you're at.
Yeah.
Got it.
5,000 cases, the club and the tasting room and internet, and
Yep.
this is it. And I want to sell 10,000 cases in the broad market.
I understand.
So I can sell maybe a couple hundred cases of Sauvignon Blanc.
And how is the visitorship to the winery for you guys? Meaning, are you getting good traffic on the weekends?
We have a really good reputation for a company that consistently, a winery that consistently makes predictable wines.
Yeah, no question. I feel that way. They've been consistent through the years. How about the experience at the tasting room? You guys are cordial. You're nice, or to the people that come in?
We're very nice. I mean, look. The tasting room is a hospitality business.
No question
If
about
you're
it.
not going to be nice, better not be in.
Hun,
this
what I
business.
find to be a big problem for a lot of wineries, especially out of California? They age profile. When they see younger people come in, they don't think that they're going to buy as much. They don't see them pulling up in the limo.
We're
And
just the opposite.
You like the younger people better.
We like the younger people.
Agreed.
Because younger people want to learn.
No question.
And I like to teach.
I can see. I believe that. That's great. All right, let's do the Zin, which is the first wine I ever had from you.
Okay.
Several years ago, I think Noah probably twisted my arm and maybe try it. And this comes in at, is this 20 suggested? Is that what we're looking at? So pretty fair price. 06, 20 is very much a fair price for Zins these days.
Yeah.
And has this become the wine that has had the biggest following, or has it been the Zin?
Well, I have a wine that is a little cheaper than this.
Okay.
A Zin.
Okay.
That has I make 3,000 cases of.
And is the real workhorse.
That's a workhorse.
And what is the name of that Zin?
This is Sierra Foothills Zin.
And this is the Shenandoah.
Shenandoah Valley
Got it.
Zin.
So this is the Shenandoah Zin at 20, and the Sierra Foothills Zin is at what kind of 15, 16? 15, 16?
Well, these guys don't have a good markup.
Good. Well, yeah, they should be working on less.
Yeah,
how about 12? We'll give you 12. All right. Let's snippy. Now this is 06, so this has a little bit more age to it. A lot of 8s are in the market now, so it's nice to see something with a little bottle age.
Right.
Let's sniff it up. Now this does have some oak things going on, right?
Of course it
I mean,
does,
this, and to me, I'm very sensitive to oak. This even has a little bit more oak than even I'd like to see.
Okay.
I think oak is used like makeup.
Well,
don't you think too many people?
Yeah, I do, and I don't like oaky wines. And my style is to have a subtle oak that will the oak flavor can integrate with the fruit flavor.
Smell this real quick. Is this typical for the oak amount, or does this spike a little high for it? Because this is coming through fairly oaky.
Well, I'll tell you.
We opened this. You could just tell me.
No, I'm telling you. Okay. Okay. The wine was opened at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. So
talking
about 5 hours.
Wine,
so as it opens up.
It opens up, what happens is all the fruit flavor comes out, and then underneath you're getting more oak.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair thing to say. It's definitely, breathing more than most wines that we have in the show, and it definitely shows a little bit more oak than I'd like to see, but nonetheless, that's also surrounded by very, very beautiful like black raspberry flavors on the nose, which I think are quite pretty, and a little bit of a there's obviously cherry on here, beautiful like ripe cherries. All right, let's give it a whirl. Now this on the palate is not showing as much oak, which is a very good sign. Yeah. I'm also picking up a little bit of pepper and a lot of black dark chocolate. There's like
chocolate.
There's a lot of black chocolate coming through here.
And this is the vineyard.
Is that right?
This vineyard consistently
this is nice.
will give me this chocolate flavor and the pepper. Sometimes, some years, it will give me more pepper.
Yeah, this is not super.
This is subtle.
Yeah, I agree.
This is very subtle, the flavor. Now, the 2009 vintage
is Pepper City, USA.
Very peppery.
Yeah.
Very peppery.
I like the pepper. I like when beef jerky, black pepper, white pepper. I like that.
Yeah.
This is a Zin. Now, this is an 06, which is this fairly in the market, or has this been drying up? I have to imagine this is kind of drying up, right?
No, it's not. It's.
Do you keep it a little longer?
I kept it. I only released it actually the end of last year.
Is that right?
Yes.
Were you like trying to get through the 05 and 04, or did you do that on purpose?
No, I did it on purpose, actually. Well, I mean,
A little bit of
it
both?
happened this way, okay?
Sure, sure. Well, I think this is a really interesting opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of Zins on the market that you just can't get 06 or 05s anymore. You know, it's 07, 08 really is what's in the stores. And, you know, it's so unfortunate. I think one of the most unfortunate things about the wine drinking culture in the U.S. is we drink our wine so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, this is not an aged wine. You know, you should be drinking 01 Zins. But we don't have the space or the patience or the dollars to just sit on our wines like they used to in the old country in the old days. This is a really interesting, if this is what's widely available in the market, I would highly recommend finding this. This to me falls in that 89 plus, 90 point kind of style. Very, very good. $20 is suggested retail, which means that you could probably even find it for 18, 19, 17, or no, it's the other way where we're low on the suggested. We're here low? Fine. I got some crazy reactions from some of the people in the background. So probably it's like 20 to 22. But very fair at that price point. Very approachable and drinkable, and there's this great elegance that I can guarantee you on the finish, this silkiness was not there when it was released. You know, something that has a little bit of time to calm down, get settled in, starts to show this kind of finish. And the big thing that I take away from this wine, as pretty as it is, and I love the dark chocolate, is this has a very firm but silky finish, and I think it makes it quite appealing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice
I
wine.
couldn't have described it any better.
Well, you know, I'm a flavor expert. All right, let's move to the last wine.
Okay.
And I think I'm very excited about this because, first of all, the Vaniacs that watch the show, they're all huge. There's a big Petite Syrah contingent. Isn't Kahuna like a crazy Petite Syrah fan, Mott? Don't you think? Or you don't remember?
I don't remember.
I mean, Special K, I think, it loves it. And I mean, there's just a lot of people. They're going to pop out. Young Dave. They're going to pop out. A lot of people like the Petite Syrahs. So I'm excited about this. Petite Syrahs have become very, very popular. This is, you know, around a $30 retail. This is 07, a vintage that is very much sought after. And this is your Petite Syrah, again, Shenandoah Valley. And what kind of production did we see on this wine?
800 cases?
Yeah, 750.
Yeah.
So all small productions.
Small production.
What's your total each year, roughly? 10?
Well, this year...
No, globally.
On the average, I make 15,000 cases.
15,000.
15,000 cases.
So what are you making these days? Zin,
Okay.
Petit Syrah, Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, I have 3 Zins and I have 3 Syrahs. The Syrah you haven't...
Right, we don't have that,
it,
right.
but yeah. And I have a Sauvignon Blanc, a Rosé. I make
rosé.
a very nice
Do you have the
one.
rosé here?
I do.
Grab it real quick. We'll just take a look at it.
Yeah, and I have a Barbera,
You do
a
Barbera.
Primitivo.
Very nice. Yeah,
Yes.
let me just see that real quick. And so what is this? What does the rosé Sonia sell for?
This
Suggested.
Rosé will be maybe 15.
15.
You
And
know,
this is,
this-
so this is 50% Syrah, 40 Tempranillo,
Yes.
and 10 Zin.
Yes.
That's nice. I'm actually decided this year to really do a much bigger push for rosé this year. I think Wine Library Retail, this is not the show, has missed the boat for a while. I think we have not been looking at it seriously enough. Has this been a big workhorse for you? Has it been very popular? Or has it been difficult? 'Cause
Actually,
it's a
it's
tough
more
category.
difficult. It's more difficult to sell.
I mean, it's a tough category, right?
It is a tough category
But for
because people don't
restaurateurs, right?
understand rosé yet. But I think that it's coming.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is coming. People
Smells
think that rosé, they see this color and they expect to have a sweet.
I think that fine. I think we're over the hump
Over
with
the
that.
hump.
I just think that
Yeah.
I just think that people are still. They think it's seasonal. You know, I think people drink rosé, you know, late spring through the
but
summer.
it's not. I mean,
No,
you
I
know-
mean going into the fall. I mean, you go Thanksgiving. You want to talk about a wine that would go so well with a lot of the kind of things we eat during Thanksgiving. I mean, yeah. So I'm glad to see that you're doing it. All right, let's give this a whirl. This
Okay.
smells amazing, by the way. The bouquet is
Any oak?
tremendous.
Any oak?
No.
No, okay.
Much. I mean, you know what? It's there, but it's not like it coming across on the 06.
okay.
This, to me, is much more balanced oak on the
Yeah.
nose, where the 06 spiked
yeah.
on the nose, but on the palate didn't come through.
Yeah.
Were you excited this didn't smell like as much? All right, let's give this a whirl. This is by far the best wine for me maybe not only today, but I've tasted probably your wine 10 to 12 times through the different times. I mean, this is really good. This is really good.
You.
Are you a big fan of this wine?
I do. I am.
This is
Definitely.
huge.
This is a huge wine, and it's very elegant. It's very delicate.
You beat me to the punch. This, you know what this makes me think of? Like a Southern Belle. Like a 400-pound Southern Belle, you know, from like 1947 from Atlanta, Georgia. Like a big lady, but she is just so elegant and refined. That's what this reminds me of. I mean, this has power for you do not want to run into this Southern Belle, but there's class. I agree. I'm a little bit upset with you because I wanted to sneak in there and say that this has amazing refinement for the power it brings to the table. Why?
Why?
Yes. Why? You made it. Why?
Okay.
You know, Misha,
Okay,
I have an 11-month-old,
I'll tell you
and
what.
she's starting to point, and I have a feeling why is about to start coming after everything, because everything is getting pointed at. I could just see her wanting to say why. She just hasn't said it yet.
Why? Many things. It's not one answer. Because I harvest at a certain time. Because I...
At night? Cooler?
What?
When do you harvest it?
I harvest when it's ripe. Okay? I don't harvest by numbers.
This feels cool climate-y to me, a little bit. This has a little bit more Rhone-like characteristics.
It's definitely Rhone, Northern Rhone.
Northern Rhone.
Northern Rhone.
Yeah.
It definitely is a Rhone wine. And my Syrahs are the same way.
Is that right?
If you're going to taste
I remember
my
one of your
Syrah,
Syrahs like that.
You remember that, huh?
The 05?
05.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have it here.
Do you?
I do.
Let me see.
Okay,
We were, like, pulling
05,
everything
7
out of the back.
exposure Syrah.
I don't know if that's the one I had.
Okay.
I don't think so, actually. I got to look back at my notes. No, but
No, it's not the one.
No, that's not the wine.
That's not a... No, not this one.
Be
The
careful,
third one.
Sonia. That's the wine. Yeah. Is that the one?
Yeah.
That's the package I remember.
You remember.
The 05. Is this the 05?
It is.
I had this. This was really, really
This
spectacular.
is an incredible
Do you guys
wine.
have this in stock still?
No, he doesn't.
No, we don't, but he does, and we can get it.
Okay, but I want a great deal.
Absolutely.
All right, wait, let's not get unfocused. I'm
Okay.
having too much fun. This 07 is very Northern Road, very dark. It feels cooler climate to me, and it's really quite
Look,
smooth.
I wait. You say cooler climate. Sometimes the cooler climate may allow the grape to ripen, whereas if it's very hot climate,
It
the
spikes.
vines, they shut down and they don't ripen. Okay, we have hot days and cool nights, which is perfect.
Perfect.
And for Syrah and Petit Syrah, it really is perfect. I allow the grapes to really ripen, and I harvest when they're ripe. And in the case of Petit Syrah, if it's not ripe, you will get the astringency when you chew on the skin. The skin will be very astringent. Mm-hmm. And so I wait until I get to that point, and then the rest that I do, in the vineyard, I like to have uniform ripening. Okay.
And then you have that balance
And
across
this
the board.
is, my pruning and
great.
my farming technique is so that, my fruit is completely uniform.
This is fantastic. This to me is the creme of the crop for sure. I think this is an extremely well-made Petit Syrah. How long was this open for? 5 as well hours?
Yeah.
Since 9?
Yeah.
It's tasting so smooth, like melts like butter on the palate. I would recommend that if you were to find this wine, that you let it decant or let it sit for several hours, because the way it's showing right now is nothing short of spectacular. This is a 92-point type wine for me. I mean, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great. And not just because you made Captain Crunch, because you saw I dissed this Sauvignon Blanc a little bit. I'm scared you're going to beat me up. This is a very, very, very good wine. A great showing of wines across the board. I'm going to try some of the stuff off camera, but I highly recommend you going out and experiencing some of these, because this guy is nothing short of lovely, and more importantly, he's making some really interesting wines. I kind of like the price points. I think you're beating up a very fair tree in this day and age, and I think that's kind of interesting. Thanks for being on the show. You get to ask the question of the day. Any question you like about anything you like. It could be about wine. It could be about food, flavors. If you ask, there'll be hundreds of comments from the viewers answering your question.
Ask you the question?
No, ask them. I know you can't
Okay.
see them, but there's tens of thousands of them watching
Ask
right now.
them or tell them?
No telling.
No
Ask.
telling, ask them.
Ask them any question. What's a question you'd like to see answered? maybe a question about wine, what they think, something, maybe it doesn't have to be about wine. Maybe you want to ask them why the Celtics are playing so well. I mean, it's up to you.
Okay.
I mean, anything you want.
All right, I'll ask them if when they buy wine, do they buy it by brand or they are more experimental? If they buy some varieties from some specific countries, like they will buy Malbec from Argentina or Barbera from Italy, or they will buy, they will experiment with
Are
any
you
wine.
thinking about planting Malbec?
I'm sorry?
Are you
No, I
thinking-
don't make Malbec. No.
Are you thinking about it?
I'm thinking about it.
It's a great question.
But I make
So
Barbera.
what is kind of their buying strategy? How do they go about buying? Is what
Yes,
you want to
exactly,
know. Okay.
yes.
I think we'll get some good answers.
Okay. Hey, thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you. Take care.
You, with a little bit of me, we can only hope to change the flavor world as much as this guy.